Assassin's Creed. We have been all over the place in Assassin's Creed. We've gone from Jerusalem to the American Revolution to the Renaissance. We've been a pirate. We've been a Viking. We've been in London. We've gone all over the place. We're in Baghdad. We've been in Egypt. We've had so many different places to be, people to meet, experiences to have, and here we are. We're in Baghdad. Assassin's Creed Mirage. Welcome, everyone. My name is Kenkukun, and in this video, we're going to review Assassin's Creed Mirage. This is going to be a no spoiler review, so I'm not going to talk about the story. I am going to talk about gameplay, what you can expect to get from the game, how the game's going to play, operate, and kind of give you an idea of whether or not you want to pick up the game or just hear my thoughts on the game in general. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into it. And the first thing I want to talk about is going to be, what are you going to be using? What are you going to be using in the game as you play, right? So you're going to have your equipment. So we're going to talk about your equipment, right? You're going to have your weapons and your armor. Now, your weapons are a sword and a dagger, which you will be dual wielding in combat. If you find yourself in combat, Basim, the main character of the game, Basim, he's going to pull out a sword and a dagger. Now, the swords and daggers can do multiple different things. The first thing that I want to talk about with the weapons is you can upgrade them. Now, you can get materials by playing the game, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on how to get materials, but just by playing the game, you'll get them, right? And you can upgrade it. You'll need blueprints as well. Blueprints you'll have to find by exploring. You can't just get them. You'll have to find them, right? The blueprints are, you're gonna have weapon caches, and you're gonna to get different weapons throughout the game, and then you're gonna have blueprints that you're gonna have to find to also upgrade your weapons. Now, weapons can be upgraded twice. They start at a base of 1, so at tier 1, then tier 2, tier 3, up to tier 3. They also come with passives. Like the one weapon I started using after I realized what it did, every 5th hit poisons the enemy. I started using that weapon late into the game. It really helped out with taking out some of the enemies, like some of the tougher enemies that had armor and just had a bigger health bar, or in a fight where multiple enemies were coming at me. Granted, I could make combat as easy as I want in this game, not because of difficulty setting, just because of gameplay options, right? So your weapons, your sword and your dagger are going to come with passives. There's a dagger that I started using where if I had a perfect parry, I slowed down time for a few moments, right? And that allowed me, just get a couple of hits in for free. Wasn't nothing too crazy, but it's just for your style of gameplay, how you want to play and approach combat and fights when it comes to your weapons. That's kind of what you're going to be looking forward to. Then we're going to talk about outfits. Outfits are essentially what your armor is going to be. Your outfits will come with passives as well, I believe, and you can upgrade them at the tailor. Now, you can also customize the way your character looks, its appearance, with costumes. Now, some costumes are going to be tied directly to some missions in the game. Others are just, you're just going to find throughout the game as you progress through the story, or you also find them in the open world. You can also use outfit dye. Now, outfit dye, I don't know if that applies to the costumes or not. I didn't go out of my way to get any outfit dye, but it does apply to outfits. So, you can customize how Basim looks, his color palette, right? We're all Basim, but we get to choose how we want to look in the game as we play through. Now, you can also put a talisman on Basim, which is just like a keychain, right, hanging off of your shoulder on your back. So as you're running through, the city streets, or you're riding on your camel or your horse, right, in the countryside, you'll see your little talisman just hanging off, just kind of like, just showing off your drip, right? But yeah, now that we talked about, the other thing, we're gonna assassin tools, right? So tools were brought back into the game ever since they've been introduced into Assassin's Creed. I don't remember if they were introduced in 1 or not, but they've been in every Assassin's Creed. Now you can unlock tools throughout the game. They're very easy to unlock, and I'll talk about how to unlock them in a moment, which is, you know, no spoiler for the story, pretty much. But you can customize your tools, right? So we'll take the smoke bomber, for example. I can have my smoke bomb, you know, have a wider radius. It can last a little bit longer. I can turn it into a fire smoke bomb, maybe a poison smoke bomb. I can have it heal me if I'm inside of it, right? So there are different ways to have your tools to match the playstyle you're looking for. Now, what can you do in the game besides the main story? Well, you have the bounty board. The bounty board, you can go around and get these side missions and get materials for upgrading your weapons. You can get skill points, and you can get special tokens. Now, special tokens can be used for the hired help in the game. They brought hired help back where you can like hire mercenaries. If you're familiar with the Assassin's Creed franchise, you can hire mercenaries to go fight for you. You can hire entertainers to distract guards, merchants to blend in with. You can bribe the town crier. I think they're called the Munadi in this game, where if you have a high notoriety rank, it'll kind of get lowered. So you can hire people like that. I hired mercenaries for a mission, and the mercenaries were like, all right, if you get spotted, we'll start attacking the guards. And I went to the other side of the camp, and then I finally got spotted. I fought 7 dudes, and when I was leaving the area with whatever I did to get back to my horse, they were like finishing off the one guy at the front gate. They never came to help me with the other 7, and I was just like, all right, thanks. This was a coin well invested. So I never really found a reason to like use them. They just happened to be in the right place, right time, and I was like, oh, let me use them. But you know, again, if you want to immerse yourself into the game, you have options as how you want to approach certain missions. As far as assassinating goes, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Now let's talk about the skill tree. The skill tree is divided into 3 trees. You have the Phantom tree, the Trickster tree, and the Predator tree. The Phantom tree is going to really revolve around allowing you to assassinate multiple targets at one time. And your focus bar. Now your focus bar is, you just unlock that at a later time. It's your cheat button, right? You pause everything in the game, you select who's going to die, and they die. It can only be used outside of combat, which is, you know, kind of how they balance it out. But I mean, you know, when you can adjust how many people you can just auto-assassinate for free, there's not many places where you're going to come across more people than you can auto-assassinate, right? So I didn't use it too often. I used it when I was just like, man, I really don't want to deal with this group. I'm just going to take them out. But I really never like dove into that tree until late into the game. Now the Trickster tree is the tree that I went down, and this is where you're going to get all your skill points for unlocking tools, right? And I focused on that first and foremost because I wanted to unlock all the tools, have all the options at my disposal for how I wanted to approach missions, assassinations, and just my gameplay in general, right? So that's how you kind of get your tools unlocked throughout the game. You would get a skill point, you would put it into the skill tree, and then you would go to the guy to actually choose which tool you want to unlock. There is no order, you just get to choose whatever one you want, right? And then you have the Predator skill tree. The Predator skill tree revolves around Enkidu, which is your eagle companion. Some of the perks revolve around Basim himself, but a lot of them are going to be just with Enkidu when you first start down that tree, allowing you to take enemies easier, see more items that Enkidu can see, which you're going to use a lot of Enkidu, so I would invest maybe 1 point into Enkidu. Make sure you get that very first skill point put in, unless they all start with that first skill point. See, now, the game's not very long, but I've already forgotten. I'm sorry, I'm so bad. Let me get a little drink of that water. So, now let's talk about the gameplay as far as how you're going to move through the city. Now, for a lot of the gameplay, you're going to be in the city of Baghdad, I believe, in the main city. So, the parkour kind of seems like it's a step backwards. I remember in one of the Assassin's Creed where you held down a button, and if you wanted to parkour over things, right? Or slide under certain objects, or, you know, jump over a fence without actually climbing on it. You would press and hold this button and you would parkour. And then they had a button for when you wanted to climb up objects or maybe climb down. That was not in this game, or I missed the tutorial where they talked about it, because boy oh boy, parkour seemed like a huge step back. And you know, I was going around getting stuck on boxes, tables, chairs, anything that I could get stuck on, ledges. I started like little curbs on the street. My guy was like starting to balance walk down, and I'm just trying to run down the street for no reason, and he's just like, time to balance, and then he would get stuck, and just I would have to wait for him to jump off, and I'm just like, ugh. So parkour in the game is like, I think again, unless I'm missing it, it's missing that one mechanic that just made Assassin's Creed parkour just much better when they introduced it. I don't know why they took it away. If they were trying to go back to the roots of Assassin's Creed, which we're going to touch up on a little bit later, I think the roots of Assassin's Creed didn't nobody was missing bad parkour. Let me put it like that. All right. Now we're going to talk about the stealth mechanic in the game. Now, it's gonna sound negative for these next, couple of points, like the parkour, the stealth combat, the stealth combat and the open combat. They're gonna sound negative. I'm not saying this is like a horrible game, and I'll give all of my thoughts towards the end. But the stealth combat is, if I wanted to, I can sit in tall grass, whistle Dixie all day long, and one by one the enemies will come and I will put them into the dirt. It's as simple as that. Now, I don't have to make it that simple, but I mean, when it comes to assassinating in the game, there was no one really around. If you're looking on the screen, if you're paying attention to the video, or maybe you're just listening, there was no hired help for me in the area when I came to this spot, so I really didn't have options other than, okay, do I go in sword swinging, or do I go in nice and stealthy? And then when it comes to stealth, it's, alright, when I'm stealthing someone, I'm using one of my 5-6 tools, right, to get the upper hand, which means I still then probably am going to go in and have to finish them off. I'm either just going in to finish them off in grass, or I'm getting high ground and I'm killing them from high ground with a tool, or, diving down on them, right? So as far as variety goes when it comes to like stealth killing and assassination in the game, it seems like you're run-of-the-mill Assassin's Creed, right? Nothing revolutionary in the game right now, which is fine. Again, if their aim is to go back to the roots of Assassin's Creed, I'm going to touch up on that in a moment. But I hope they're taking this time to really develop the AI as well. The AI didn't seem very smart. Again, me being able to sit in the bush and whistle, I guess you could just make well, just don't sit in tall grasses and bushes and whistle until people die. Like, try to do something different. It's just like, yeah, I could, or the AI could just be a little bit smarter too, right? Like in the Arkham series, in one of the Arkham series, when you start picking off people as Batman, the Joker gets on the intercom and says, hey, he's picking you off, and now everyone's on high alert, right? So they could also just make the AI just a little bit better too, just, saying, oh, fire jars, beware, you're gonna need to use these in a couple of missions, maybe even more missions, because I didn't do all the side missions. Don't be on high ground and try to throw them to low ground. You're probably just going to set yourself on fire. Just go set it down at the wall. That's probably like one of the most annoying things, because it was in one of the main story missions that I had to do it, and I ran out of fire barrels until I like walked away and came back. Like they infinitely regenerated the fire jar, but it was just a slow it was an annoyance that I had to walk out anyway, right? So I would say never throw them down. Just drop down from the ledge with it in your hand and just set it down. Now, the open combat of Assassin's Creed is, it's just kind of cut and dry, to be honest. It's very simple, I guess is the word I'm going to say. It comes down to me I could stand in place and sit there and parry people until their stagger meter is gone, and then I would finish them because they're staggered in front of me. Or I'm just dodging their attacks. Now, I can swing an attack on them, but I only have, like, just click mouse button to do combo, right? The combo is just light attack, light attack, light attack. There's no heavy attack, there's no sweep attack, there's no combo, there's no flourish with the combat. When you hit enemies, the enemies don't stumble or stagger. It's like you're hitting a sandbag. It kind of feels a little rough, a little lame. You know, I'm gonna say it. Again, I don't want to turn people away from Assassin's Creed. I've been playing a lot of the Assassin's Creed. I've been playing since Assassin's Creed 1. I've had a lot of fond memories with the game, so for me to just sit here and I'm just like easily countering enemies, I would say this is probably one of the more plain combat systems of Assassin's Creed. And if I'm gonna have like simple combat, can I at least flourish a little bit? Can I be a little flourishy? That's all I want. You know, I just want to look cool doing it, I guess, at that point in time. I don't have to have like 27 hit combos and come out looking like I'm, you know, just like I'm the next contestant to arrive in Mortal Kombat. Like, I don't need that. You know, I just, you know, a little bit of variety, a little bit of showmanship, right? I believe is what I would be looking for there. So the combat is just kind of a little bit, you know, a little bit lackluster for my taste. So again, you know, those points are going to be the negatives that I talk about with the series, or sorry, with Assassin's Creed Mirage. And yeah, let's kind of wrap this up with my overall thoughts. So let's answer the question, what is Assassin's Creed? You know, Assassin's Creed over time, like I said, we've come through many settings and many locations. We've been in Jerusalem, we've been in the American Revolution, we've been in the Renaissance, we've been in London, we've been a pirate, we've been in Valhalla, we are in Baghdad, we've been in so many different places. What is Assassin's Creed? What is the root of Assassin's Creed? If someone were to say, you know, well, Assassin's Creed is, you know, about getting in a bush and stealth assassinating people and not being found, I would say, yeah, that's a mechanic of the game, but I wouldn't necessarily say that's Assassin's Creed. It definitely is a part of Assassin's Creed and part of the origins, but I would say Assassin's Creed is more about the ideal and the creed itself, right? So you have the overall arcing story, unless it's changed. I really, confession, I haven't finished ever since Origins came out, I have not finished an Assassin's Creed to know exactly what happens in the present time of the game and how it's, you know, how whatever we've done is affecting the events in, you know, the present time world that we're in, right? Because we are reliving the past moments of someone else's life, right? So, but last I checked, it was, you know, the assassins are trying to stop the Templars, and the assassins are for freedom, and the Templars are for control, right? So if you were to ask me, what is Assassin's Creed, I would say, well, Assassin's Creed is my journey through a time period and through someone's experience of that time period and setting, right? The atmosphere, right? So, you know, when it was Black Flag, I played as a pirate and I did pirate things. So yes, I did Assassin's things too. You could see me, you know, jumping out of the crow's nest and assassinating people, but, you know, it was about taking my pirate ship around, a lot of it, and just going and being a pirate, right? Valhalla. Yeah, I could be, you know, in the rafters of the, you know, of the buildings or on top of rooftops assassinating people. But I was also a Viking, so, you know, no, I didn't feel like an assassin when I got on my skiff, got, you know, all of my comrades with me and started, like, pillaging and looting. No, that didn't feel very assassin-like because I'm a Viking, you know? Just because I became an assassin doesn't mean my way of life completely changed, right? It doesn't necessarily mean, you know, assassins, we fight from the shadows and we take no recognition for our actions. That's, you know, one part of being an assassin, but I wouldn't say that's just the sole roots of Assassin's Creed. When you play these games and the game starts up and, you know, the little indicator, the box, right, where the developers say, this game, the story was written by many people of different backgrounds and, you know, religious beliefs and, you know, ethnicities and all that, right? They say that for a reason. So they have, like, first-hand experience on places they go to. So when you're sitting here and you're going through the streets of Baghdad, and you're experiencing what it is like to be in Baghdad or, you know, in Valhalla or, you know, in the Caribbean or, you know, wherever else you are, that's what really Assassin's Creed is to me. It's the experience and the journey through those time periods and those settings versus how, you know, me just being an assassin on a rooftop, right? So I don't mind that we're gonna go back to the roots, and I don't know exactly what you know, the developers have in mind for that. However, I'm probably still gonna enjoy this. I'm still gonna enjoy the series and the gameplay, but the story is really what carries the game, because after playing Assassin's Creed for so long, there's only so many things they can introduce outside of maybe come out with a really good multiplayer game that isn't super buggy and is unbalanced for multiplayer like Unity was. Unity was a big flop. I almost forgot about that existing. So anyway, that's my thoughts, that's my review. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If the video helped, if it gave you any insight, please consider subscribing. Oh, I guess I should wrap it up. Would I recommend this game? Yeah, I think if you're a fan of the franchise, there's no rush to get Assassin's Creed, but if you again, if you want to support the devs, you like what they've done, I think this is a solid game, for the price point of $50 if you got the regular game by itself. For $50, I think was just fine. It did exactly what it needed to do. It put me in a story and a setting, and I got to experience it. Even though I didn't feel really immersed in this story as much as other Assassin's Creed, because Basim is like, alright, I'm in Baghdad, but I didn't really learn much about the area if I didn't read it, and I bought a video game, not a book. I'm not a big reader, like with lore and stuff like that. I don't go out of my way to really read that stuff if I don't need to, unless I'm truly interested in like the place I'm at. So if they would have done more to really like not throw it in my face every step of the way, but just, brought the world around me into the game a little bit more outside of reading, I think it would have struck home a little bit more. So, but all in all, I would still recommend this Assassin's Creed Mirage, and yeah, I hope that helped. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.